Papua New Guinea is struggling with rising crime and a weak healthcare system, making life harder for its people. The country has seen more violent crimes. A 23-year-old woman, Margaret Gabriel, was kidnapped, assaulted, and killed by a large group of men in Burundi. This terrible act has raised serious concerns about violence against women in PNG. On February 18, 2024, a fight between tribes in Wapanamanda district led to the deaths of at least 49 people, including bystanders. The use of high-powered guns made the violence even worse. Pajur gold mine conflict, disagreements over land and environmental damage have caused violent clashes between local communities and security forces at the Pajur gold mine. These events show a bigger problem with law and order, as PNG has one of the highest crime rates in the world. The country's healthcare system is also facing major problems: lack of resources. Hospitals and clinics often run out of important medicines and supplies, making it hard for doctors and nurses to treat patients properly. Many patients have to wait hours before they can see a doctor or get medical help. Because of these issues, people in PNG have lower life expectancy, with men living an average of 64 years and women 68 years as of 2016. People in PNG are also facing financial difficulties. The cost of basic goods and services has gone up, making it hard for families to afford necessities.
The prices of goods and services will remain high the further away one goes from urban centres, because this government has failed to spur economic activity in all the rural centres. The SME policy has absolutely failed the people of Papua New Guinea. The 4.5% inflation, Mr. Speaker, in 2025 will have a knock-on effect to investments, savings, loans, pensions, insurance, consumer spending, employment rates, government programs, tax policies, and interest rates. In short, Mr. Speaker, inflation will have a pervasive impact on the whole economy and affect the people of Papua New Guinea. Now, we understand that there is no silver bullet when dealing with inflation, but it requires an acute understanding of how things work. And from this unmitigated rise and fall in inflation and the lack of the Treasury's ability to effectively show fiscal discipline, we expect that inflationary pressures will continue to exacerbate the cost of living crisis in 2025. Of particular concern, Mr. Speaker, is the nexus between inflation rates and the exchange rate depreciation. This is in the budget estimates presentation, and I quote, "Underlying inflation was high at 4.4% in the third quarter of 2024. 3.1 percentage points higher than the third quarter 2023, reflecting exchange rate depreciation of the United States dollar and the Australian dollar. This is the effect that the IMF's crawl peg depreciation is having on inflation. Treasury, in short, Mr. Speaker, has lost control of inflation and currency depreciation in the country. In 2025, inflation will triple, and the exchange rate will continue its downward spiral, meaning that the government will have to pay at least 7% to raise money for the budget. In addition, the public are also facing not just higher costs of inflation, but a higher interest rate in the Kina facility rate, going up to 4% from 3.1%. This will make borrowing and investments more difficult. Papua New Guinea, Mr. Speaker, remains vulnerable to external shocks and global market forces, and the protracted cost of living crisis for our people, especially in the rural communities where the bulk of our people live, will continue. A key example, Mr. Speaker, is to bring all members of Parliament to consider, with empathy, the plight of our people. Let's consider an average Papua New Guinean, Mr. Speaker, that's earning 500 kina a fortnight. This person buys a bag of rice. Thanks to inflation and the mismanagement of the economy by the Treasurer, a 10-kilo bag of rice now costs 100 kina. If you buy tin fish and other basic household items that cost another 200 kina, this individual, Mr. Speaker, is left with 200 kina for rent, transport, other meals, and sundry expenses, including diapers. This creates a vicious cycle for our people who are enslaved by loan sharks, charging them 50% or 100% interest on loans on the black market. This is the reality of Papua New Guineans that we all know and can relate to. Trying to feed a family, Mr. Speaker, on 500 kina per fortnight, under these cost of living pressures, trying to pay for school fees and meet social obligations as is the custom in PNG culture, is not achievable for the bulk of our population. This is a sad indictment on the Marape government's economic management. Third, the Bank of Papua New Guinea, our central bank. Mr. Speaker, we have lamented about the encroachment of the Treasury Department on our central bank in the whole of 2024. Treasury's encroachment of the Bank of Papua New Guinea is counterproductive and it is illegal, Mr. Speaker. Now, simply put, the good treasurer must take note of this. Based on the equation of exchange, money supply times the velocity of money equals price levels times GDP. In short, Mr. Speaker, that means you increase the increase of the money supply is the cause of inflation. In 2018, the Temporary Advance Facility, the TAF, was 200 million kina, and in 2024, under the auspices of the good treasurer, it increased tenfold to 2 billion kina. Mr. Speaker, the printing of money or the use of quantitative easing as a tool for resourcing the budget is elusive and it promotes insidious inflationary effects by directly increasing prices through an increase of the money supply. Quantitative easing, Mr. Speaker, printing of money at the central bank is lazy economic management by the good treasurer. It's the easy way out. This will continue to erode the Bank of Papua New Guinea and its independence, Mr. Speaker, and its ability to effectively implement monetary policy and control inflation.
All these problems show the urgent need for big changes to improve safety, healthcare, and the economy in Papua New Guinea.